Hi guys, it's Matt here from MCS-books, and this month I'm going to read more. So I don't think that I read little or I don't read enough, but I think I can most certainly read more. After doing Dewey's 24-hour readathon, I decided that I really enjoyed sitting down and taking that time to read a book. And a big book at that. And I thought to myself that maybe I should reconsider ways of getting reading into my life more. Then lo and behold, Diana in Colour created a top tip video for ways of reading more. And it was just perfect. I'll link it down below along with her channel, and I suggest you go check her out because her videos are gorgeous. I'm going to reflect on everything that she said and figure ways of implementing her tips into my life to see if I can truly read more. So, let's have a look.
Tip number 1, set aside time every day to read. Consistency is key.
Now, I already kind of do this, but I don't keep to it as much. I always read before I go to bed. However, sometimes I will just put Netflix on to help me sleep. And sometimes I will just go to bed a bit too late and then not want to read and just go to sleep instead. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make sure to keep reading before I go to sleep. And I'm going to carve out that time specifically every night for reading.
Tip number 2, set goals. Have a set number of pages, chapters, or even minutes that you read every day.
Now, I'm not really one for setting goals. I'm not very good at keeping them, so I don't tend to set them. However, for the purpose of this month, I am going to set myself a goal of 50 pages a day. That means every day I have to read 50 pages. If I read more, I start again at 0 the next day.
Tip number 3 is keep yourself accountable. To form a good habit, you've got to stick it out, and the best way to do that is to keep your goals measured. Diana
says to keep yourself accountable, which is definitely probably the biggest part that I need, because it's the accountability that I'm not very good at. So that's another reason why I'm making this video. But then also, I have made a little habit tracker for this month. You can see a graph which has not yet been filled in. So what I've got on the bottom is each day of the month, and then along the sides I have counted how many pages I'm going to read. So during the month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a dot on each day and how many pages I've read the month. I can keep track of how much reading I've done, and I think it's more clearer for me at least to really track it well.
Tip number 4, make sure your goals are achievable.
I personally think I have made myself achievable goals, and have gone for only 4 this month. Diana also, makes it clear that you should be aware of things that are happening in your month so that you can plan accordingly. For example, back here on my calendar, you can see I've got 2 little love hearts here because I'm cheesy. From 23rd until 28th, Davide is coming to England. So this week, I know I probably won't be doing as much reading. We want to, spend the time together. We want to go out and do things. We won't be holed up reading. This week, I will be a little bit more kinder to myself about my goals, and I won't be so strict whilst Davide is here. Now let's take one more look at my calendar and see how this fits in with Diana's 5th tip.
Tip number 5, make it a date. Make an appointment with yourself. And make that appointment.
And now I am going to be allotting a specific amount of time every day to reading. However, I do like this idea of kind of treating myself. So you can see on Friday the 4th of May, I'm going to go into town for a coffee. I'm going to sit down in a nice cozy coffee shop along the seafront and read whilst I drink. I'm going to kind of keep updating it regularly and give myself other times for dates in which I can fit them around my daily schedules.
Tip number 6. Your book is your baby. Take it everywhere you go.
I do usually carry a book around me all the time. However, I don't tend to get it out of my bag. So I am going to continue carrying the book around all the time, but I'm going to be more aware of when I have free time and when, within the time that I'm out or doing something, I can read.
Identify your bad habits and replace them with reading.
You can see my last goal is to read for 20 minutes every morning. My biggest and worst habit is in the morning, waking up, looking at my phone, and then spending about an hour just flicking through everything and not doing anything. I'm not really engaging my brain, because in my brain I tell myself that's my waking up time, but it is ultimately a bad habit. So I want to replace that with 20 minutes of reading every morning. So whilst I will still pick up my phone, I am going to reduce the time that I'm looking at it and replace it with reading.
Tip number 8 is use the library.
She promotes this because not only, is it a good way of saving money and reading more books without having to spend, but she does say that the good thing about libraries is that it gives you a time limit and makes you more inclined to read. So I have now got my library card, and I do already have 3 books requested from the library, so I should be getting them soon. And this goes back to my goal of reading 3 library books this month.
Tip number 9 is read what you like. I know this sounds ridiculous, but you would be surprised by how many people read books they don't like.
When I had heard Diana talk about this tip in particular, I kind of almost wanted to applaud her. It's very true. I generally kind of keep to that. I don't tend to read the most hyped books. I'm not very good at listening to recommendations. So if somebody recommends a book, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And then probably never get around to reading it. I do just read what I want to read. So this one isn't exactly, one that I need to bring into my life since I already do it. However, it does remind me that there are a few books on my shelf that I am really excited to read and haven't got around to reading yet. So I am going to make it a priority to read some of those books, which is why one of my goals is finish a Brent Week's book. I have his Lightbringer series and I've had them for a while now. I haven't read them because they're so massive, but I really want to, and I know I will enjoy it, and I really want to get back into fantasy.
Tip number 10, switch it up. Reading 500-page book after 500-page book can get really exhausting.
So switching it up doesn't always mean about the size of the book. It can mean genre, and that's how I'm kind of looking at it. I'm going to read a wide array of genres this month, and I do have a short story collection which I am reading for a buddy read, so that's a good way to kind of shake things up a little bit. But I do need to assess the books on my shelves a little bit more to kind of push the boundaries of what I am reading and to make sure that I am mixing up my tastes as much as I can and probably should.
Tip number 11, create an accommodating reading environment.
Now, I really loved my little reading nook that I made for the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, so I think I'm going to adopt that reading environment a little bit more, and I am going to tidy my room, my bedroom, because that definitely needs a tidy, and hopefully that will kind of make that a little bit more cozy, a little bit more enjoyable to read.
My last tip is audiobooks. Read an audiobook.
Now, I don't like audiobooks. I don't like listening to things. I'm not very good at it. She says it's a good way to get you reading whilst you're doing something else. So she will listen to an audiobook while she's cooking. However, if I was cooking and listening to an audiobook, I wouldn't hear any of the audiobook because I'd be too busy concentrating on the cooking. I'm just not a good listener, and so therefore I genuinely don't think I can follow this. So let's have one more look at my goals. You can see that all my goals have been shaped from Diana's list, but you can see beneath them I have kind of got a TBR. Now, The Accusation is a book I'm reading for a buddy read, and you can see today I have marked the 1st of May with a red dot to show that this is the day that I've started it, and I will mark every day that it takes to read, so I can see and track how many days it takes me to read a book. I also have the Black Prism, which is the Brent Week's book, which I want to read this month. And then the last 3 are the 3 library books that I'm going to take out. So I've got Who Fears Death, At the Existentialist, Café, and The Comfort of Things. All 3 of these books are ones that I have or will take out from the library this month, and these are to get my goal of reading 3 library books. So these are the 5 books that I'm definitely going to be reading this month, but hopefully I will also read more. The Brent Week's book is massive, so we shall see. I think it's something about 700 pages. We shall see how much more books I am able to read. But hopefully I can find a nice small book or something which just is a quicker read and I can get through that. And add another book to my end of the month wrap up that I'm going to do. So this is what my month of May is going to look like. I had to make a nice habit tracker because if I don't have something aesthetically pleasing to look at, I probably won't ever use it. I'm excited to keep track. I do need to force myself to make sure I keep track. But it's going to be a nice way to kind of reflect on my reading and to see if there is a way of getting more reading in my life, which I do want because I do have lots of bad habits that need to be stamped out. So thank you, Diana, for all your tips. I hope they work, but I will keep you all updated at the end of the month to see how well these tips have done for me, which ones I hope to keep forevermore, and whether or not I think they could work for all of you lovely people out there too. So thank you for watching this video. You can always give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And as always, you are more than welcome to subscribe. So I'll see you next time for another video. Bye bye.